I'm going to start the next story. It's really short. It'll be 2 days worth, but it's just 2 days worth. Not like Night of the Spadefoot Toad, where it was multiple chapters. It's just kind of one story, and we're breaking it into 2 days. So you will have just a few questions. Your workload's going to be a little bit lighter for the next couple of days because I want some of you to catch up on your assignments. A lot of you don't have all of your assignments in. So please catch up on those. All right. So this is called Shells, and it's by Cynthia Rylant. You hate living here. Michael looked at the woman speaking to him. No, Aunt Esther, I don't, he said it dully, sliding his milk glass back and forth on the table. I don't hate it here. Esther removed the last pan from the dishwasher and hung it above the oven. You hate it here, she said, and you hate me. I don't, Michael yelled. It's not you. The woman turned to face him in the kitchen. Don't yell at me, she yelled. I'll not have it in my home. I can't make you happy, Michael. You just refuse to be happy here, and you punish me every day for it. Punish you? Michael gawked at her. I don't punish you. I don't care about you. I don't care what you eat or how you dress or where you go or what you think. Can't you just leave me alone? He slammed down the glass, scraped his chair back from the table, and ran out the door. Michael, yelled Esther. They had been living together, the two of them, for 6 months. Michael's parents had died, and only Esther could take care of him, or only she had offered to. Michael's other relatives could not imagine dealing with a 14-year-old boy. They wanted peaceful lives. Esther lived in a condominium in a wealthy section of Detroit. Most of the area's residents were older, like her, and afraid of the world they lived in, like her. They stayed indoors much of the time. They trusted few people. Esther liked living alone. She had never married or had children. She had never lived anywhere but Detroit. She liked her condominium. She was fiercely loyal to her family, and when her only sister had died, Esther insisted she be allowed to care for Michael, and Michael, afraid of going anywhere else, had accepted. Oh, he was lonely. Even 6 months after their deaths, he still expected to see his parents, sitting on the couch as he walked into Esther's living room, waiting for the bathroom as he came out of the shower, coming in the door late at night. He still smelled his father's Old Spice somewhere, his mother's talc. Sometimes he was so sure one of them was somewhere around him that he thought maybe he was going crazy. His heart hurt him. He wondered if he would ever get better. And though he denied it, he did hate Esther. She was so different from his mother and father. Prejudice. She admired only those who were white and Presbyterian. By the way, Presbyterian is a type of religion. Selfish. She wouldn't allow him to use her phone. Complaining. She always had a headache or a backache or a stomach ache. He didn't want to, but he hated her, and he didn't know what to do except lie about it. Michael hadn't made many friends at his new school, and his teachers barely noticed him. He came home alone every day and usually found Esther on the phone. She kept in close touch with several other women in nearby condominiums. Esther told her friends she didn't understand Michael. She said she knew he must grieve for his parents, but why punish her? She said she thought she might send him away if he couldn't be nicer. She said she didn't deserve this. But when Michael came in the door, she always quickly changed the subject. One day after school, Michael came home with a hermit crab. He had gone to a pet store looking for some small living thing, and hermit crabs were selling for just a few dollars. He'd bought one and a bowl. Esther, for a change, was not on the phone when he arrived home. She was having tea in a crescent roll and seemed cheerful. Michael wanted badly to show someone what he had bought, so he showed her. Esther surprised him. She picked up the shell and poked the long, shiny nail of her little finger at the crab's claws. Where is he? She asked. Michael showed her the crab's eyes peering through the small opening of the shell. And we're going to stop there because today I want to do some vocabulary with you while we can. So I'm going to pop back a page because I would like you to find the word fiercely. Find the word fiercely. It's in what I just showed. Point to it when you found it. Fiercely. Fiercely. All right, hopefully you found it. It is here, fiercely. Oh, it's letting me highlight today. I like that. Fiercely, right there. But she was fiercely loyal to her family. And when her only sister had died, Esther insisted she be allowed to care for Michael. So, what I would like to do is I would like to do a word map for the word fiercely. Fiercely, fiercely. And as you saw, that was on page 5. So let me make this a little bit bigger, and I'll put a circle around it. Oh boy. Please come to the front. Send to back. All right, fiercely. Perfect. So what I would like to do is I would like to use it in a sentence. I would like to come up with words that are related to it. I would like to determine what kind of word it is. So adjective, adverb, verb, noun, pronoun, any of those. And I can also take words that are not related to it. But since I'm doing this by myself, I'm only going to do what I can think because I don't have your input. That's why it's so important that you come to the lessons. So we are going to start with fiercely. And it said she was fiercely loyal to her sister. Now, her sister was Michael's mom, and she and his dad have died. And so now his Aunt Esther is taking care of her. But it said she was fiercely loyal to her sister. So what does fiercely mean? Well, when I think of fiercely, I think of animals. And animals can sometimes be fierce, which another word I've heard used with animals that are like that is also ferocious, which just means kind of aggressive. So I'm going to put aggressive here. Aggressive. A word that I think you all might like is savage. And usually when we're talking about animals for it, and I know Miss Aunt Esther is not an animal, but thinking about animals, they're usually wild. Another word might be untamed. Another word might be mean, could mean mean, cruel, yell, brutal, and let me use dangerous. Now, all of these kind of seem negative, right? And if I plug them into the sentence, like let's take aggressive for a minute and we go back to the story. Let me get rid of these tabs. We go back to the story. I lost it, didn't I? Oh, bugger. It says she was fiercely loyal to her sister. Now, if I type in, savage or vicious, if I swap those and she was viciously loyal to her sister, that kind of begins to change the meaning. But I wanted to put these ones in there because of their intensity. It means something very intense. It does. This idea of fiercely. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some words to it. I was hoping that web page would go, please. I'm going to add some words to it that help us understand that intensity or that determination in reference to his Aunt Esther, because his Aunt Esther is not a wild animal. Uh-oh. All right, I'm just going to come back to it in just a minute. So I'm going to add that she was fiercely loyal to her sister. So intense. I could also put determined, like I said. I could also put I'm looking for the word focused on her sister. She was fiercely loyal. It's this great importance that she's putting on it. So something that Esther thought was very important was being loyal to her sister. And loyalty means like you keep your promises to that person, or you never let them down, or you choose to stand by them even through bad times. You don't say, well, oh, sorry, you're kind of in a bad mood, so I'm going to go find another friend. No, it's this whole, you know what, you're in a bad mood, let me see how I can help you. So these are all words that I would say are related to fiercely. More than I thought I'd get on my own, to be honest. When I was brainstorming, I didn't think I'd get that many. All right, let me see if I can get this now. I do want to get back to the story. My apologies for accidentally clicking out of it. There we go. One moment, please. All right. And so one other thing that you're going to have to do on your work today is you're going to have to come up with a sentence that uses the word fiercely. Now, it does have the suffix of ly, so it means in a fierce way. That's what li means. But I think you all will be able to come up with an appropriate sentence. So this is what. Oh, I'm gonna do some opposite words, and I'm gonna like to put my opposite words over here. I'll put them in a red box. Nice, lazy, um, mm, mm, calm, not worried, oh, tame. Ooh, I'm gonna put a fancy one out there. Domestic. If you have a cat that is only an indoor cat, they are a domestic cat, because they live in your house, and domestic means inside of a house. Well, means related to the home. All right, so there are some negative words. They are the opposites, so you know not to use it if it sounds like it's going to mean one of those. And then I am going to put what kind of word it is up here. Is it a person, place, or thing? No. Is it an action word? No. Is it describing something? Yes, it's describing Aunt Esther. I keep wanting to say Miss Esther, but it's describing Aunt Esther. So I'm going to, that description would be an adjective. And I'm going to make that really big. And then what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to put underneath of it descriptive word. So there you have it. Nice and small, just so you don't forget. And then I'm going to create another sentence like you're going to have to do on your work. And please don't copy my sentence, but I'm going to try to keep it on the topic of people, because I think it's so easy to do it for animals. And if you want to do it on animals, that's absolutely okay. But if you want a little bit of a challenge, try to relate your sentence to a person or people. So the soccer player fiercely, oh, I have spelled fiercely wrong in many places. Fiercely. Let me fix that here. Cely. The soccer player fiercely ran toward the ball before the opponent. Now, an opponent is somebody that you play against in sports. And so if the soccer player fiercely ran towards the ball, it means that he ran with every tiny bit of determination that he could find. And so that is my sentence. Now, for the next one, the next word is on page 6. So let me go back here. 2-page view, please. And page 645 is going to be right here. The word is prejudice. Now, this one might be something that you've heard a lot about because there's been a lot of news around this idea lately, but the word prejudice, Prejudiced. I guess it's prejudiced, past tense. Okay, so I have found it. It is here. And I'm actually going to read the sentence before and the sentence it's part of. And though he denied it, he did hate Esther. She was so different from his mother and father. Prejudiced, she admired only those who were white and Presbyterian. Now, if you go back and look at pictures, you'll see that that is definitely not Michael on one of those accounts. And so what does this mean to be prejudiced? Well, let's go back to our thinking map. And I'll put the circle up first. There we go. And the word is prejudiced. And I forgot to do something on the last one. I'll make sure to do it on this one. Prejudiced. D-I-C-E-D, prejudiced. It is past tense. And so what does this mean? Well, if I go back to the text, it says that she was prejudiced. She admired means like, she liked only those who were white and Presbyterian. So white meaning white skin, and then Presbyterian is a specific type of religion, so only the same religion as her. So I can gather that prejudice is a dislike towards someone or something. It is possibly judgment. It is like racism, especially since it said she only liked those who were white. Injustice. I'm sure you've heard a lot about that lately. Unfairness. Bad opinion of someone or something. A mindset. A mindset is you have got your mind made up. So you have set your mind on something. I don't like tomatoes, is a mindset. Or a mindset might be like, I hate Fords because my dad had a Ford and it just kept dying on him. So all Fords are bad. That's a mindset, whether you've had a Ford or not. Bad thoughts about someone or something. And then I'm going to add, I have dislike on my list already. I was going to add dislike, but I've already got it. So let me add some lines for these to connect them to our word prejudice. And I want you to start thinking of a sentence of how you can use it. Now, what I want to talk about here is how this is past tense. So prejudice has ed on the end, and it means that it's already happened. So somebody who is prejudiced already formed these thoughts. And so this is a thought process. If you are thinking, thinking can fall into two categories for a type of word. It can be a verb, so like I am thinking, or this idea that you have. If you have an idea that, oh, Brussels sprouts are horrible, that's an idea. It's an opinion, which is a thing. So it is a noun, which is a little bit harder of one, which is why I just wanted to give it to you. And I'm going to put underneath noun here after I make it big. I'm going to put person, place, thing, or idea. So in 5th grade, I really want you to get I really want you to try to incorporate or think about how an idea is also a noun, which can be a little bit harder because ideas tend to seem like they're going to fall into the verb category. Okay. And then some things that prejudice is not. It is not kindness. It's not fair. It's not good. It's not just. It's not equal. It's not the same for everyone, which I know is equal, but it's just nice to have those up there. So let me put these in a red box so you know that they are opposites. Oh boy, that's bad. Draw it better with my finger on my touchscreen. All right, and then I'm going to tell you that there are some like words. So related words is what we're going to call them. So prejudiced is a, let me get my green one out, has a root word of prejudice, which means all of these things. To be prejudiced means to have already made up those decisions. And so those are, it's past tense at that point. So we can have prejudice, which is current. We can have prejudiced, which we have on the board. Prejudicing is not a word, so I guess it's just those two. But I forgot to do that on the other one. So let me, oh, jeepers, Witkowski. I was just trying to do a backspace. There we go. Just a related word there. So let me move that down. If I go back to fiercely, it has a root word of fierce. And so I can put that over here. In fierced, I don't think fierced is one. Fiercely, fiercing, no. Okay, so just fierce. The root word there is fierce. All right, so fierce, 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 and prejudice, prejudice, and prejudiced with past tense. Now, I need to think of a sentence that uses prejudiced with the ed, trying as hard as I can. Now, if I go back to my sentence in the text, I can always use it in a similar way. It says prejudiced. She admired only those who were white and Presbyterian. So I could type in, the old man was prejudiced, and then explain it. Why? He thought only men should have jobs. And we are going to read a story this year about something very similar to that. But that is a way that people have thought in the past. And we know that women can have all kinds of jobs right now. That is one great thing that Ruth Bader Ginsburg did for us. She allowed for women to have equal pay, for women to have their own houses, their own rents, their own bank accounts. She was an incredible woman that we lost last week. And hopefully you got to read that awesome story that I found about her. All right, so we have done it. So your job in your homework today is to make sure that you have one sentence for each word. If you want to go above and beyond and do more sentences for each word, I am A-okay with that. We also talked about compound words last week. Compound words are a thing. Don't forget about them. And you may need to find one in your homework today. So don't forget, compound word is two small words put together. All right, enjoy.